Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm starting a new video series. This one's going to take some work. So this isn't going to be like the console wars where I did like 2 a week. This is going to be sporadic, maybe one a month or less. But this is my video game buyer's guide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a retro video game console until I get up to modern consoles and give you the tips and tricks on how to collect for this console and who should collect it, who should be buying this game console. We're starting off more or less at the beginning, not the very, very, very beginning, not the, protoplasm, but we're starting at the prehistory, the amphibians walking on the beach, getting out of the ocean, just before the dinosaurs. This is the Atari 2600. So the first question we ask ourselves is, who in their right mind should buy an Atari 2600? One, if you're a retro gamer and you really want to experience an authentic gaming experience from the 80s and you want to know what was the fuss about, the Atari is the best one of the systems that are out there. You can skip the Intellivision, the ColecoVision, etc., etc., etc. Just get the 2600. It's pretty much all you need. Also, diehard collectors are going to want an Atari 2600. And also completists, people who have to have everything, are going to want an Atari 2600. Now, fortunately, whichever camp you fall under, the 2600 is such a prolific game console, you have options. So let's run down some of the options. Let's talk about retro options, authentic options. You have multiple machines released by Atari that are under the Atari 2600 family. You've got the wood grain 6-switch box, you got the wood grain 4-switch box, you got the 4-switch Darth Vader, which is the one you probably think you want, but you actually want the 6-switch wood grain system. That's the one you want. You don't want the Darth Vader. The only people who want Darth Vader are nerds and Star Wars fans. Look, I had a Darth Vader as a collector, and I also had the 6-switch wood grain. The wood grain is where it's at. Forget the Darth Vader. It's just in the name anyways. There's also the Atari 2600 Junior, and then also, if you want to go above and beyond, the Atari 7800, which has a handful of NES-esque 8-bit style games that you can buy and raise your eyebrow as, what the fuck is this? Is also fully compatible with the Atari 2600 cartridges, so you can play games on it. So if you're going for authentic hardware, those are some of your options. There's also the Atari 2600 Junior, which I do not recommend. I have never heard anything good about it. Or if you want to get a little off the beaten path, you could buy either an Mattel Intellivision or Intellivision 2, and you can get the Atari 2600 adapter, which plugs into those machines, that allows you to plug in Atari cartridges in your Intellivision machine. Or if you want the better graphics but inferior software library to the Intellivision, you could get the ColecoVision. I do not recommend doing this, but you could if you're insane, and get the Atari adapter for the ColecoVision, which again, I don't recommend unless you're insane. But if you do, please don't. But if you do, please don't. Another way you can get authentic, retro-produced Atari-compatible hardware is the Coleco Gemini, which is the system I had as a kid. It is, internally, hardware speaking, it is an Atari 2600 board with an Atari 2600 cartridge slot. It's just in a Coleco form factor, and it comes with its own unique controller to avoid trademark infringement. Yes, the standard 2600 joysticks are more iconic. However, I will say, having played both, the Gemini controllers are superior to the standard 2600 controller, even though the 2600 controller is standard. That being said, I don't know how rare the Geminis are, so I don't know if you're going to pay a fortune for them or not. Now, If you just want to experience the games, but you don't necessarily want to buy the cartridges because you're on a budget, or you can't find a pawn shop in your neighborhood that sells them because nobody fucking sells them anymore because they're so old, um, you could get some of the modern systems. There are retro clones, and I don't know which all ones there are, but there are retro clones that are compatible with Atari cartridges. But there's also machines made by Atari themselves, or licensed from Atari to other companies. The Atari Flashback consoles, which are plug and play TV games that have Atari ROMs built in. That these systems can be modded relatively easily to accept cartridges, and then you can just play authentic cartridges. Now, the less expensive method, less authentic, is to just get the Atari anthology on whichever console you own or PC you own that has that anthology on it, whether it's, Windows or, PS2 or whatever. That's another route you can go. And then, of course, as in almost all cases, but there are exceptions to this buyer's guide, there's also emulation. There are a few different Atari emulators. Stella is probably the best one, but MAME is also an option, although I don't recommend MAME for a lot of reasons. There's other ones out there that are compatible with Atari ROMs if you just want to experience the games themselves. Also, sidebar, a lot of Atari games were produced for the arcade. So the Atari cartridges, or the Atari versions, are home ports of arcade games. So you can get those arcade ROMs through various compilations like Namco Museum, Konami Classics, or Capcom Classics, or whatever, Midway's Arcade Treasures, etc. However, another interesting thing about Atari is there was a strike within Atari. A lot of Atari developers left the company and formed their own company, Activision, which is kind of, sort of still around today, but not exactly because Microsoft, whatever. But Activision created a lot of games for the Atari 2600. So Activision themselves has also sold compilations of Activision produced Atari ROMs. And it's not the exact same thing, but you can also get a semi-authentic Atari experience by playing the Intellivision Lives CD or compilation. If you just want games that look and play like Atari games but have different names and slightly different graphics, that's an option as well. Buying the system, your best bet is going to be Facebook or eBay. Cartridges, good luck. Do not overpay for them. Mostly stick to eBay, I would suggest, but there are other options out there. But be careful. Atari cartridges break easy, and I mean easy. So make sure you get a money back guarantee, or you test the cartridge before you pay for it if you're able to. Now, I do not know if flash carts exist for the Atari 2600, and I'm not 100% if the machine is compatible with flash cart technology, so I don't know if that's an option or not. Now, what about the games? What games do I recommend? Oh my god, I could talk about Atari games all day long. I've already done my top 25 Atari 2600 games list. I don't know if I've published that video yet or not, but I've already done the list. But some highlights. Let's hit the highlights. Some good ones. Good, high quality, legit quality Atari 2600 games. Moon Patrol. Combat. Asteroids. Defender. Haunted House. Capture the Flag, or Flag Capture, whatever it's called. Video Cube. Video Pinball. Video Baseball. Pole Position. Those are some legit good ones. Some Good as in morbid curiosity makes me want to try it out to see what it is. There's the Atari porn games, if you're curious. There's the, there's Halloween. There's Gremlins. There's Kool-Aid Man, which I like Kool-Aid Man. That's a fun game. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Um, those are, I put those under oddities. Um, Not good games that are playable, but people can enjoy them if you give it a shot. Would be games like Enduro Racer, any of the Atari sports games. Wizard of War is one. Um, the infamous E.T., Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man, Galaga, Dig Dug, those games. And then there's the rubbish, which I do not recommend, but fuck it, whatever. Um, Superman falls under the rubbish category. Um, the Tron games fall under the rubbish category. Fucking what else? I can't name. I'm not gonna sit here and just name all of the garbage games. Um, I know a lot of people think ET is rubbish, but it actually isn't. It's a top quality game. It's just confusing and difficult. And there's other videos out there on YouTube if you want to that can give you more in depth on what games to play. But those are some of the ones I recommend. Any of the arcade ports are good. Centipede, Galaga, Asteroids, Space Invaders, Missile Command. Those are all good. You can't go wrong with those. Those are all going to be good. And I will say this. There are some cartridges that look like Intellivision cartridges that have a fat butt on the bottom that allow them to plug into the Atari 2600. There's only like 3 or 4 games that come in that design. Those games are all rubbish. You can avoid them. Don't even bother. Hidden gems. Hero, Hero, is a hidden gem. Um, Congo Bongo, I would classify as a hidden gem. Well, not Cubert so much, but Video Cube I would definitely regard as a hidden gem. And Demon Attack, absolutely I would regard as a hidden gem. Although that one's gaining in popularity as more people explore the library. There are a few others, but those are the big ones. Those are some of the big ones. Tatankum is a good one too. So that's your Atari 2600 buyer's guide.